Hello, this is the Cave and Cliff Fundamentals author. Call me Welljack. Thought about time to upload a proper tutorial for the mod, since I think some of the stuff's pretty hard to understand and get the grasp on. But especially the multi-block structure is pretty hard. Some of the stuff's kind of obscure, hard to see. Some of the blocks underneath it. How to build them properly, how to obtain certain items. A little out there, a little confusing, I guess. So I decided to make a quick video here for you guys. So I think we should get started here on some background of the mod. Started the mod development of the mod back in 2021, February of 2021. I think that's when I started. I really wanted Brimstone in my world, and I decided I couldn't find a mod with it at the time, so I decided to go ahead and make it myself. So I added it to the game. This is before the Ad Futurum, the new version of Ad Futurum came out and added a much better version of it, but still a lot of fun. This mod is inspired greatly by Netherlicious on CurseForge, the same version, 1.7.10. Very good mod. My favorite Nether overhaul mod ever, no matter the version. It's a great mod. So the mod's main focus here, I guess I gotta go with that first, is to add things that complement the Cave and Cliffs update. So add features or stuff that complement it, enhance it, I guess you could say, and try to steer too far from vanilla. Some things are a little out there, especially the multi-block structures, but a little crazy to them, unfortunately. Definitely would have done little things different now looking back on it, but maybe when I rewrite the mod I will definitely redo a couple things. So let's get started here. So when you're the world's pretty much overhauled. Underground is quite a bit. You're gonna find there's a ton of new blocks and items. There's new mobs you're gonna encounter in your world. I would definitely suggest you get a mining operation in Extreme Hill, since there's new stuff in it. There's more stuff here than there is like other places. I guess especially early games, since there's ores that was spawned up at the top of the mountains, especially iron, coal, and used to be copper, until Ad Futurum had a better version. This removed that from the mod entirely. Well, not entirely, but I stopped it from generating the world. So first of all, let's get started in the caves. Over here, I got a ton of new blocks here. There's new plants as well, actually. First here, so I backported some of these blocks. Got dripstone, tuff, calcite. Well, backport in quotation marks. Got my own iteration how they're implemented. Got moss as well, it's a little bit different. Dirt, rootstone, some stuff that I added as well. Rootstone's is vanilla, but it still acts a little different. We got Grimstone, Ancient Grimstone, and Nullstone. This is Deep Slate, but I just left the name Grimstone, so I like the name better generally. There's a few other blocks. Got some different salt blocks here. You find them underground in the caves. You can't find them strip mine. Only find them in caves. A lot of stuff's in caves only. This is also subterrestrial stone, which is very important later on in the mod when you get like to the midpoint of the feature to add so far. Yeah, so the new plants, there's new mushrooms, got the lichen stuff. It doesn't grow on walls or anything, but it goes on the ceiling and the top of blocks. So let's go to the first ore you'll probably encounter in the mod, because you can go mining first then probably when you start to do this mod. So first thing you got, first ore called Brimstone. This is an orange ore, looks like lapis. It also has the same rarity of lapis generally. It generates up higher in the world, goes pretty far down. But I would definitely suggest kind of stick around kind of around by 40 up to 50 or so. Look around, should find some. This stuff is pretty much alternate gunpowder, which I always thought was kind of hard to get, especially early game, very difficult to get. You have to kill a ton of creepers. And I thought TNT mine would be a good option, another alternative to just strip mine or just regular caving. So I thought let's add some new TNTs to the game, some standard TNTs that could possibly be added. I think by vanilla. So Brimstone here, you can see an orange powder, pretty important. You can mine with an iron pickaxe, get iron, not too hard. Looks like this. So it has the main purpose to make gunpowder, of course. So you use charcoal or coal to actually make it. As you can see in the recipes, just use NAI for most of them. Let's go over here and test them out. So let's get lever. So generally you want to build like a tunnel or something with them. Do a long tunnel like this. So you can place in the ground right, just like redstone. Not as complex or anything. You can power it and it's going to explode. It creates a little path. Again, don't take too much, just a little path here. Make it a little, expand it open a little bit more. Like a nice useful item early game to clear some areas out. All the ores in the mod, pretty much, except this one, are blast proof, so you can go mine for them with TNT to risk destroying them in the explosion. Another thing. You can also use it to craft this PETN powdered dust, or not powdered dust. Here's the recipe, of course. Get this. This is a TNT. It's a little bit bigger of an explosion than TNT, but not too much. There's one more above this we'll get to here in a moment, but this is kind of what I would suggest you kind of go for early game. This is pretty good. As you see, the recipe's not too bad. Need some of this. Let's go ahead and blow it up here. You know, pretty solid explosion, not too bad. Oh, by the way, all the explosives in the mod do not have a fuse time, so you have to be careful when you detonate them. So, nice long line of redstone with the repeaters would be necessary. That's generally what this stuff's used for. The alternative to gunpowder-free gas, pretty much, is all it is. So I always thought, like I said, I always thought TNT was kind of a little too difficult to get early game. So next ore I'm probably going to encounter here, I guess it's not really an ore, but more like a stalagmite. You're not going to find any ore flowing anywhere. You're just going to find it as these, and caves, so it won't find them strip mining. So it's a greenish ore here. Stalagmite and stalactites. What was another? I saw some more in the cave somewhere around here. Nope, right over here. It's naturally growing. Grows on. You find it on tough growing. So let's take a look at the uses. So tool is pretty. The tool you can make tools and armor out of it, as you can see. You get scraps out of it. You craft them into lumps, smelt them, and you get it's pretty straightforward. Pretty simple recipes. You need iron to mine it at least. So let's get it. Got to put a pickaxe in here. Let's go ahead and grab one. Alright. So just go ahead and mine it quickly, get some of the scraps. Not too bad, no, get some. Need 6 of them per lump, get one ingot per lump. And this is kind of like a tier between iron and diamond. It cannot mine obsidian, so it's not that tier. But here's what it can do. The big use is it has a very high efficiency. That's its draw. So this early game especially, this is what you want to get early game. It's a very fast mine speed, and the full armor set is very good. So when you go mine, this is the armor you want to wear generally. And his armor is slightly better than iron. Uses I think the uses are the same, if I remember correctly. But the full set gives you haste 4 as a bonus, so pretty cool. This is the only thing that gives it, by the way, nothing else. No other armors give it. Even the final armor of the game doesn't give it. Get this. See? Mine's pretty quick. It's faster than netherite, I know that. But get netherite pickaxe around here. But it's pretty fast. Especially puts efficiency on it, should be a pretty solid thing to do. You can also craft this in a block if you want. Actually, I'll keep them on. Let's go back into creative. Let's go back to the next ore. So those are the 2 main ones you're going to find pretty early on in the game. You go further down, you're going to find this ore. This will probably be the next ore you're going to find here. It's called Xanthium. Xanthium? Yeah, Xanthium is what I call it. This is mainly used to make explosive, like brimstone, but there's a couple more uses to it. It's a pink ore, gonna find underground. It comes in like a dust. So you get dust, crafting ingots. We'll get to the fire charge launchers later. You can't place it in the ground like like brimstone. But what you can do is you can craft the ingots, which are pretty much they're used to make the Xanthium TNT, which is very important. And also, it's also used in the recipes to craft the fire charge launchers. So let's grab some Xanthium TNT. Come up with some strange names for these items, unfortunately. Well, I don't know. I like the names, some of them at least. So remember, these don't have any. There's no fuse time. So you have to be very careful when you detonate them, because this has a very high chance of killing you. This is a very dangerous block. Let's go up to a little further up here and take a look and see how big the explosion radius is. So it's pretty expensive to make. You need brimstone, blaze powder, and Xanthium ingots. So fairly big explosion. Definitely something later, kind of mid to late game, you want to use it to clear out large areas, because there's a lot of structure underground you might want to search for, and needs to be very useful to have. So let's kind of go down here, back down here. Got 2 more ores. So the next ore has a few more uses. So this is called Vanite. This is it's about the same rarity as Xanthium, but it's very difficult to see if you don't have night vision. But it does do a giveaway that gives off these cool particles that I have, like redstone does. It was an accident. I got this doing this, but it gives off random clear particles you can use. Pretty cool. These 3 ores, all 4 of these actually, will generate very close to bedrock. I put a lot of effort into making them kind of blend in with like other mods such as Factorization, if you have that installed, or Rika's Cave Overhaul mod, or you got like the new mod, Immersive Cave Gen. If you have one of those installed, this is kind of what you go down really deep in the caves, you're gonna find this stuff. So like you don't have to go strip mining for them and stuff. The mod's really meant to play with a lot of these other Cave Gen mods. So when you get it, you need diamond pickaxe to mine it. So you have Xanthium. Diamond or better, or equivalent. So you get some raw vanite. This is what you get from mining. You smelt it into ingots. Ingots create blocks, but generally it's made. Usually this stuff's made as like a part of the recipe for upgrading stuff, or making the different type of projectiles or stabs that I have in the mod. But there's one more use of it that I have. These are blocks. So if you have an ore, so let's say you got any of these ores here, the vanilla ores. So you got gold, or maybe you got lapis. Let's take a look. Go on these 2. If you place one of these standard ores adjacent to the block like this, it will convert to a deep slate variant, or a Grimstone variant. That's what I didn't feel like changing the name, so it's still Grimstone. So you got Grimstone here. Compose back, same thing with all the ores, we do the same. So place it instantly converts. Oh, whoops. Yeah, whatever. But the big thing is the Grimstone ores. They unlike vanilla, they yield they give more resources. They'll give double the resources that double or triple. I forgot which one I did. I think it's double. That the standard ores do. So this might be a good idea to get some blocks, a block of this at some point around, and start placing, get silk touched as early as possible, and start using it to convert the ores to Grimstone variants. That's what it's generally used for, and that's really it for this ore right now. I had more plans for it, but stuff changed once I had some issues with the server problems with the projectile weapon, which made me very sad. So I guess got one final ore here called Calgonite. This is the kind of like your netherite, but better. This stuff's very rare. You can find it in these stalagmite forms underground, near bedrock. Same with the, you can find it in ore form as well, but a bit rarer, much rarer. So this stuff's pretty cool. It's better not diamond and netherite, so you can place it here. It's purple. It's merely used to craft other things, though. So the recipe for this is pretty expensive. the null shards and aether shards are actually another thing in the mod, which I'll show later on. But these are pretty hard to get, these two. You'll see later on. So that's kind of like this organic block out of it too if you want. Not sure why you would, but you can. It's an option. I'll show you some of the cave gen here, why not, as well. So I'm down here quickly before we get back to the surface and go over some more of the structures and what you want to work out for. So here's this kind of a cave. It's a random cave. This is a random cave I found. Well, I did this built-in. Got dripstone here. It's not exact. It's not anywhere near like the vanilla. It's kind of deep slate quotation marks. Doesn't like hurt you if you touch it or anything, but it's kind of more decoration. As you can see, you got coal. The mod adds all the new ores, textures, and stone textures. And I also added the pre 1.3 gravel texture and lava. That's the pre 1.5, I think it was. Lava texture, I like them better. So I just added them. They're better. I'm not a fan of the 1.3 to 1.14 gravel texture at all. So as you can see, you can find different types of stalagmites and stalactites, different plants. The mod did add copper at one point though. I got rid of it because at Futurum I had a much better version that was it's pretty much exactly, I think it's exactly vanilla at this point. Which, well, just use that one. I just pretty much disabled the world gen of the copper I added and just went with that. So you take a look, there's also little stalagmites with different ore variations. As you can see, the null stone generating the tough. Grimstone, go over here, got redstone, a bit bigger. Got some shrooms over here. Not always perfect, but if I fix that, great. You can see the caves are definitely a bit more lively now. But there's also going to be a few mobs to look out for while you're in the caves I added. We'll get to those in a little bit. So let's go back up to the surface now, because I want to get to some of the decoration blocks and the more goal of the mod so far, I guess you could say. Let's head back.